I will start by asking you this, perhaps it's something that a lot of people have asked you even in your family. Why the Veena and how the Veena was your choice?
Good morning, and it's so beautiful to see you all, especially with all those lovely sarees in the background. Why not the Veena? So, 7 generations of musicians in my family from my mother's side, and a giant of a mama, Sri Guriji Jayaraman mama, and his first sister, my guru, Srimati Padmavati Anantagopalan, the only Veena player in a family of violinists. She was away in Singapore, and my mother probably tried violin on me, but somehow I think I started playing when I was 3. So when people ask me, why did you choose? I don't think you actually choose at 3, you just end up doing something. And I guess I found the Saraswati teacher at home playing the Veena, not the violin. So somehow it seemed the right thing to do at home. And there was a very big Veena. And my mother used to tell me, I believe I used to play on one side and then shift to the other side as a little girl and then think, oh my God, V is so far away, and play on the other side and then slowly move to this side. So it was like almost like a big sport from this end to that end of the Veena. And finally my Perima got me a small Veena, more because they couldn't see this sight of my going from this end to the other end. And I still have that Veena. It's a very, very beautiful Veena. My Perima was my inspiration in choosing the Veena later in life too. My parents lived in Bangalore, so I came over to Chennai, stayed with her for about 22 years and learned. And learning with Perima was one of the most exciting things, because you had to wake up at 4 o'clock every day and practice for 3 hours, and practice for another 3 hours in the evening, and practice for 1 hour before you went to sleep. So you can imagine I had a pretty normal childhood. And that's about it, and then I find myself where I am today. Trust called Bhumija Trust in Bangalore, and they wanted us to do a show exclusively for children. So we collaborated with a storyteller. We did 2 shows just I think 10 days ago for children above 3. So it was quite a challenge. When they said children, I thought about 12, and when I just read it was about 3, I was a bit nervous because it was hour and a half. And to hold their attention for that span of time. So we had a very, very beautiful storyteller who wrote the story of all the 4 artists in a way that children could understand. So the first story was mine. So I've never heard my biodata being told in such a beautiful way, like a little child would understand what it is to play a Veena, what it is to grow up, what it is to learn, to practice. And the second story, my story was called Jayanthi and her Perima. This Kumaresh story was called Kumaresh and Cricket. Anand played Raghu sir's grandson, and he played the Mridanga. His story was called Anand and the Jackfruit Tree. And there was a percussionist called Pramad. It said Pramad and his best friend, which is a morchik. So, very beautifully written 4 stories. And we had 4 pieces for each of these stories. And the children simply loved it. And you could hear the children laughing, interacting, and enjoying through the concert. It was a very beautiful experience. I don't know if you can make a blanket statement and say that Veena is on the decline or anything like that. In Chennai, we'll keep that separately. Rest of India and all over the world, Veena is one of the most popular, most sought after, and most often featured. The 10 rupee dollar note in Singapore has a Veena on it. In Singapore. I don't know about India. So it has a Veena on it. It's the national instrument of India. I keep saying this again and again throughout today morning's conversation. There are many reasons. First of all, I wouldn't say there is a decline, but in Chennai, over a period of time, if you have noticed, there is a season when all instrumentalists are popular. Then the cycle turns, and there's a season where all vocalists are popular. Again it turns. Then there's a season where all instrumentalists are popular. So, here I find that people in a way connect religion a lot to music. In the sense, when they hear music, it's not more as an art form, but as something that connects them with the Ramakrishna and Govinda. So the songs they ask is also more bhakti oriented. If you see the trend in the concerts now, it's more towards bhakti and more towards bhajan, more that kind of a appreciation. Instrumental music is de-regional and de-religious. We speak only through the notes, the ragas and talas. So it becomes very easy for an organizer across the globe to present instrumental music. If you go to any international festival and ask them, can you name some Indian musicians? I have done this several times. They say Pandit Ravi Shankar, Hari Prasad Chaurasa, Lalgudi, Zakir Hussain, and Subramanian. Not even one vocalist will come there. I haven't heard, with due respect, definitely, I mean, there's no way. But these are the things. These are the people who have generally catered to audiences who don't know anything about classical music. You don't need to know a tutorial to understand, because there's no language to understand. And very few places they mentioned M.S. Subbulakshmi. Some places where there was a little bit of Indian connection. So what it means is, when you appreciate classical music just as an art form, instrumental music is easy to understand. When you want to associate it with this kriti, that composer, when Murugan did it, when Rama told somebody something, so then, so then the Sahityam becomes very important. So I see that now in Chennai, the trend is more people go for songs which has more bhakti. And this is a trend which will again change with time. Everything keeps changing. And if Veena has managed to live for the last 2000 years, I think we don't have to worry about whether it will live for another 8,000 years. In my limited knowledge, I think the key to that answer will be the word proportion. So, I always say there is a 3E formula to music. On a superficial level, it entertains. On the next level, it educates. on the deeper level, it elevates. So, as an instrumentalist, you are very tempted, especially if you have a great audience, your hand is in a good form, you have a good mic system supporting you, you have good accompaniments, and your hand is not tired, and you are playing, you are in the middle of an alap, and you are just going all the way and playing all the speeds that you can. Then your mind tells you, well, that's it, move on. You would really like to linger and do all those things you practiced. You know, today is the day. Your hand is really doing everything. But you can't. You just can't. You have to just say, okay, puro, move on. And then you go and stop in sa and close your eyes and then go further. And I think it's the proportion that doesn't tire the listener. So, completa, you can't be totally soulful because everybody doesn't want salvation right now. And completely you can't entertain, then you don't really leave anything for posterity. Completely then you can't educate because then you would be more sought after. So I guess we keep trying, like mom's coffee every morning, how much milk, how much decoction. So I think every day, every concert we think, idu konja jaasti pannalama, adu konja kami pannalama. Sometimes it works. So I think throughout we keep trying to, and the proportion is different for different audiences. When you play in a college, it's different. When you play in a sabha, it is different. When you play for a totally uninitiated audience, it's different. So you have to find the right proportion and give it to the audience. The four main strings of the Veena signify the four Vedas. The three strings on the side signifies Icha Shakti, Jnana Shakti and Kriya Shakti. The Veena is designed after the human body, and the main playing speaking length, as we call, of the instrument has 24 frets, which is symbolic of the 24 vertebrae that we have in our spinal cord. And playing of the Veena stimulates the nerve endings of both the hands, which in turn stimulates the pituitary gland. So it is considered as a form of Kundalini Yoga. And so many gods are said to reside at different parts of the Veena. 24 is a magical number because the Gayatri mantra also has 24 aksharas. So it's a very spiritually significant instrument. Proven that playing a music instrument, any music instrument, is a psychosomatic motor activity. That sounds grand. Now, what happens is, when you play a music instrument, the motor activity happens in your right hand. You're doing this consistently. If it's a guitar, you're doing this. If it's a bow, you're doing this. So the right hand does the motor activity. The left hand does the creativity. Your brain is thinking, your spinal cord is straight, you're sitting like this. You're thinking about, is the ragam right? Is this the grammar of this ragam? Am I putting the talam properly? Is this the second sangati? Am I doing the gamakams right? Am I playing the song Pallavi after Anupallavi correctly? Now when I'm doing Swaraprasthanam, am I doing it within the meter of the talam? So you are basically doing around 8 things at the same time. This increases the bandwidth of the brain. And children who learn to play a music instrument have been proven to do much better in their academics than children who don't play a music instrument. So I think this really should motivate. And also, all this is our acupressure points, tip of the fingers. Any instrument you play, you activate the nerve endings in all the fingers. And that really keeps you in good health. So I think we should just go pick up an instrument and play.
I have one question. How do you deal with the situation of a live audience versus a recording?
It's totally different.
Yes, I want you to tell us what the difference is.
Recording is, you have the luxury of doing something, redoing something, and thinking about it, taking the recording home, coming back, redo a particular thought, add something on it, delete something from it. So it's total luxury. Life is now or never. So you have to do it right. In music, there is no 80 out of 100 or 90 out of 100. It's always 100 out of 100. I can't say, today in Kamudi, I just played one wrong knee. It's okay, I got 80. You have to do the whole thing right from start to end. So, I made an album called Mysterious Duality. Another track of Mysterious Duality. Maybe I should explain what it is. It is, the theme is, it's just me for each person. If you see how many personalities we all are, if you're at home and about 10 people call you on the phone, how you talk to your mother, how you talk to your child, how you talk to your concert promoter, how you talk to your co-artists, how you talk to your husband, how do you talk to your friend, how do you talk to someone whose call you're not really expecting at that point in time. How many different personalities we are rolled into one. So this thought made me create this album called Just Me. And the company that promoted this album wanted to call it Mysterious Duality, where there are 8 Veenas, each dubbing on top of the other. One Veena plays the main melody, one does the rhythm, one does the backing, one does the harmony, one plays the upper octave. So I used 8 Veenas, one on top of the other. And the reason for doing this is, many years ago, there was a concert promoter in France who wanted to have my concert. So he emailed me saying, can you send me one of your CDs? So I sent him a regular CD with Mridangam and Ghatam. And then he wrote back saying, I got your courier, sounds really nice. But which of those sounds is the Veena? He heard the tambura, he heard the Mridangam, Ghatam. He didn't know which was the Veena because he's never heard it before. So then I decided we must make a signature CD for the Veena itself. So that's what Mysterious Duality is all about.